Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I have not sat down and talked with you in a little while and I've really missed it. Even though videos have been popping up, it's just in terms of me and the camera, I feel like I've lived a lifetime since I saw you last. Mostly because we had some house guests, but that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about some books I picked up recently. So yeah, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I love talking about books and reading. I talk about the books that I bought recently and what I've read, and I go over lists. I just love all that kind of stuff. And if you're really into that as well, I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around, maybe like the video, and let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. Some of you probably know this, and some of you probably do not. But in terms of book buying, I have one rule. I can only buy as many books as I read off my shelves. And for the most part, I've been really, really good about sticking to that rule, that guideline, that deal that I've made with myself. However, a few weeks ago, I just went off the rails. I had probably I could only buy one book. I really had not read that many books off my shelves. And yet I totally just decided to break that rule. And instead I bought six books. So I'm going to go through them with you. I think now I've balanced out those checks. I now have read probably as many books off my shelves as I've picked up. I really don't know what got into me. I just decided to break the rule. I think I was being a bit of a rebellious teenager, and I was in my feels, and I decided to indulge in some retail therapy. All of these books I bought from library book sales, so I only spent $6, but it's not about the money. It's more about the fact that I just decided in my heart of hearts that I was going to just buy the books that I wanted to buy, and to heck with my rule. And I really have no good excuses, but I did want to confess that before we got into the haul. So I don't know, maybe I just was getting tired of the rules and I decided to just go for it. But since then I think I have read about as many books as I've now bought, but I really need to get back in touch with those checks and balances because it was working really well for most of the year. So instead of continuing on, let's talk about the books. The first book I have in this stack, again, I just, when I said I broke my rule, I'm going back to it. When I said I broke my rule, I'm talking that I hit up 3 different libraries and a Goodwill, I think, or 2 different libraries and a Goodwill. I think that's right. And I bought books from all of those places all in one day. I just decided I'm going to be the most rebellious version of myself. And what did I do? I ran out and bought books. Now, in terms of vices and stuff, it's really not that bad. But now I have 6 more books on my shelves that I am feeling the desire to pick up. So anyways, first book on this pile is The Weight of Ink. It's a chunky little boy by Rachel Kadish. I've heard really good things about this book. I know y'all know that I'm a huge fan of Steve Donahue and Steve Donahue's lists. This made the top 10 of fiction in Steve Donahue's lists. It's a historical fiction book, and it says set in London in the 1660s and set in the early 2000s. So we have a dual timeline here. The Weight of Ink is the interwoven tale of 2 women of remarkable intellect. Oh my gosh. Esther, an immigrant from Amsterdam who is permitted to scribe for a blind rabbi just before the plague hits the city, and Helen Watt, an ailing historian with a love of Jewish history. And then those storylines obviously are interwoven together. This also won National Jewish Book Awards, so it's going to be giving us some insight about Jewish culture, maybe Jewish history, which I thought would be really interesting, and I've heard really good things about it. So I picked this up as my first book. The next book I picked up, it's kind of not in the best condition. If I run across another copy of it in a better condition, I might swap it out because I only paid $1 for this. So it is The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. This I picked up because of you all. When I made the video, when I asked for requests about the best historical fiction books of all time, this popped up over and over and over again. So many people talked about how great this book is. So this is set during the turn of the 19th century on a tobacco plantation in Virginia, and we are following an orphaned girl from Ireland to serve in the house of a southern, I think it's in Virginia, to serve in the house of like a plantation owner. She learns to cook, clean, serve food, and cherish the quiet strength and love of her new family. So in time, her position changes, and we follow her journey and an unexpected friendship. A lot of people said this was an under-the-radar book that ended up being really, really, really good. Okay, I'm going to leave my best find, my pièce de résistance find at the very end. Okay, so the next one is another one that was recommended by you all. Someone specifically said that this book was really good and that I would really like it. So I was like, oh, okay. And my library, or the library, one of the libraries I was visiting was discarding books. So here is the book. It is News of the World by Paulette Giles, and it has the discarded the pen mark so that you can't see their cutter number. I think it's the cutter number. You would think I would know. I do have library school training, and it's like withdrawn on the stamp. Typically, weirdly, I don't love discarded library copies, but what was interesting is that they had a bunch of these. They had like a stack of 9 of these books, all withdrawn, all discarded. And what was interesting about that is that it means, I don't know why they had so many copies. Maybe it was like a book club set. You can order those sometimes from your library. You can order like a bag of the same book for a book club, and it's like one checkout, versus trying to gather up all of the copies in the library system for your book club. Like you can just check out a book club kit. Sometimes they have that. So this might be part of that, but I was surprised at what fantastic condition this is in. Some of the other library discards, now what am I doing? I'm talking about libraries. Okay, some of the library discards are just very icky. Like they just look like they have been well loved, and I am just less interested in that. But this book is in fantastic condition, and so is the next book I'll show you. It's in fantastic condition, and this is about a Captain Jefferson Kyle kid. He is paid, it's set in Texas at the beginning, and he's paid quite a handsome sum to take this orphaned little girl from one part of the country to the other. We're set in the US. And what's interesting about it is that it seems a little bit like the short version of Lonesome Dove, but instead of having this troop of men trying to get cattle from one place in the United States to another, and it's about that journey. Instead, we have this retired captain, this widower, who has fought in a bunch of wars, and now he is paired up with this little girl, probably bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he has to like take her from one part of the country to another. So I would imagine, I actually am thinking that people who like Lonesome Dove might also enjoy this, because it's kind of like two distinct characters against the elements. That's kind of what I'm imagining this is. So I'm so glad to have this. The other book I hemmed and hawed about, because technically I own this on my Kindle, and I do want to read it on my Kindle, but having the book, I've realized, not on my Kindle, the physical book, it gives me such a, it's a wonderful visual reminder that I do want to read the book. And so it is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. This is a woman named Ursula, who is constantly being reborn. The same character is being reborn. Sort of a reincarnation kind of thing, but she's being reborn as this same person. And there's a huge chunk of it set during World War II. I really enjoy Kate Atkinson's writing. I think she's a really smart and entertaining author, and I'm excited to have her pièce de résistance, even though this is not the peak of my haul yet. Okay, next I got this beautiful basically brand new copy of Home Fire by Kamala Shamsie. I think this won the Women's Prize back in the day, and I'm pretty sure that my sweet friend Anita has said that she really, really liked this book. But regardless, I've heard really good things about it. Actually, the Jack Edwards just talked about this as one of his best like picks for the best books in the 21st century. Because, you know, that conversation is going on right now. Not that I've contributed. Anyways, this is a young woman who is finally, after years and years and years of serving her siblings after her mother's death, is being, has this opportunity to move on from this position and this role in her life to do something else, to live really more for herself. And so I think it's going to be thinking about the tension between desire and, not honor, between desire and, what is it, for the self and for others. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, this is going to be about the tension between like what you want to do in terms of your own self and like the role that you feel obliged to fulfill for your family. That's what it was. Okay, and it sounds good. It's not a long book, and I heard it really packs a punch. It's supposed to be good. I'm excited about this. Okay, and then the last one is a book that I saw, and I was like, that's an interesting cover. That's an interesting writer. I know nothing about it. So what do? I get on my phone, and here I am, like, Googling, and I'm like, okay, what is this book about? And what do you know? Steve Donahue said it was one of the best books in the year that it was written. It was sweeping, excellent. And it is The Eye of the Sun by Ada Suif. But what got me was like the cover is intriguing. Like this woman, it reminds me of like the 1990s, the way her makeup is done and the photography of it. I thought the title sounded interesting, The Eye of the Sun, and it says raw, accurate searing. The author is one of the most extraordinary chroniclers of sexual politics now writing. So it's like, sexual politics? What is that? Not like, what is it? But like, what does this writer have to say about that, especially if they're so good at it? So, set amidst the turmoil of contemporary Middle Eastern politics, this wildly vivid novel by an Egyptian journalist is an intimate look into the often hidden lives of Arab women today. It tells the story of Asiya. It tells the story of Asiya, a brilliant young woman who grows up in a luxurious world of the Egyptian elite, marries a westernized husband, and pursues graduate study in England when she becomes embroiled in a love affair with an Englishman. But for all her worldliness, Asiya remains caught in a struggle between ties to her traditions and desire for independence and sexual fulfillment. This sounds incredible. It's a chunkster, y'all. This sounds incredible. It's his, let's see, it's his over, oh my gosh, there's a whole glossary in the back. We're fine over here. 791 pages I got for that one. I was just like, if I'm going to buy a book, I'm going to buy the chunkiest books that I can find. Life After Life is about 520 pages, 510 pages. That's not that long. It looks chunkier. And the margins are very wide. It's a very wide set margins over there. The Weight of Ink, less wide set margins. A little more words crammed on the page. This is not, it's not quite 600. It's 575 pages. So yeah, this is the chunkiest. Oh, you know what? The words aren't that small. I'm deep diving in this. Okay, I would love to read this. Have you read it? I want to know. This seems like such a find. It's just beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful book. I looked up, Steve has like endorsed this author a couple times for a couple of her different books, and I was just ridiculously intrigued. But yeah, looks amazing. That's it. So what do we have? We have The Eye of the World, Life After Life, The Weight of Ink. We'll do a Steve stack. This is what it is, a Steve stack. That's what you call it. Home Fire, News of the World, and The Kitchen House. So that's it. Yeah, tell me, what have you bought recently? What have you read recently? Have you read any of these books? Do you recommend them? I want to know all of the thoughts, all of the things. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for these new books in my life. Even if I broke a rule, that's okay. And that's it for me. Mostly, I think I'm just excited to sit down and talk with you all. It's just been a really interesting week. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here and spending this time with me. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye!